Welcome to the Law, Your Money, and You. This is Roberta Saphire. I'm an attorney in Sharon, Massachusetts, and I'm sitting on the other side of where we usually sit to see if you're paying attention and make sure you email us in about it. And this is...
I'm Camille Barron. I am a healthcare advisor and financial coordinator also in Sharon, Massachusetts. And we're very fortunate today to have a very special person here with us tonight. Would you care to introduce our guest?
I would be honored to. First of all, I'm saying welcome, Makaila. M-A-K-A-I-L-A. Yay. This is Makaila Cheung. Thank you for being with us. She's been an intern on the Law, Your Money, and You. I think this is her third year.
Wow.
And
that went by fast.
didn't it?
Yes.
And she does a lot of things. She's worked on, hold the book up. She's worked on these at Brockton. There's a thing that's
Wonderful,
15
wonderful work
years.
she does. Very
Yeah,
talented.
She's very smart. She writes. She can draw.
Beautifully.
And she's very smart. She's a good student. She plays tennis. And one of the things that she's here for is not for all that stuff. She's here because she got a scholarship for RYLA. Now, tell our viewers, tell us what you did, where you went with RYLA.
And RYLA is the Rotary Youth Leadership. What's the A stand for?
Rotary Youth Activity?
Award?
Award.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Rotary Club's scholarship that they give out to people who are deserving of it, and we sponsored Makaila and her brother.
Right, and her brother was on. I don't think he had gone there yet. I think he was about to go there. But Makaila has gone there, and it's brought even further. But speak.
Well, we went to the Cape. It was a Friday, and we had to leave at around 10 so that we could get there around noon. And my brother and I got into the bus, and then when we got there was a lot of screaming.
Screaming?
It was a really welcoming and supporting
Oh,
community. Yeah.
nice screaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you do on the bus?
It was like around an hour and a half drive. So I listened to music. I know my brother listened to music. We also ate because we didn't know if we were going to get food there or not. But that's pretty much it. We didn't really talk to anyone because it was a pretty small bus. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh. Well, what led up to that point? I mean, what made you decide that you wanted to take advantage of this opportunity?
I think I like meeting new people, and it's not very common that I meet someone that's like me and thinks like me, and the entirety of RYLA. We felt like an entire community. It took like a few hours for us to get to know each other because we all thought so alike.
Really?
Yeah, it was
That's
really
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
Mm.
What did Law, Your Money, and You have to do with this? Did that help you?
It did. I think I definitely improved my social skills through the Law, Your Money, and You, and I wouldn't have known about the opportunity if it wasn't for the Law, Your Money, and You.
So what did you do there when you got there?
When we first got there, it was a lot of icebreaker games because we didn't really know each other, and the people who were leading the event wanted to get to know us and make sure that we were comfortable with the people that we were staying with, since we would be with them for like 52 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to know each other, and it only took a few hours, and by the end of the night we were all like best friends. It was really interesting.
That is interesting. About how many people were there?
In my group there were only about 7 people, but overall I think there were about 100, 150.
Oh,
So what kinds of activities, leadership-oriented activities did you experience there?
It was a lot of just like group activities. There is a game that was kind of like tag, but you had to do it in partners. So then you got more comfortable with each other, and stuff where like with the entire camp they made up games with them. So yeah.
Oh.
did your brother was in a different group?
Yes, he was.
Did you see him at all?
We
there?
did, but we hardly talked throughout the 3 days. I think I talked to him once to ask him for mosquito spray. And we would text each other and make sure each other were doing each other were doing okay.
And your brother's a year older than
Yes.
you?
Yeah, imagine that. And what was it that you learned, or what kind of changes did you experience after you went that you think that you got out of being there? Anything?
Well, the very first night that we were there, they wanted to like continue breaking the barriers between us. So they did something called the culture walk. I don't know if Zach talked about it, but
No, I don't think he talked
No, I don't
about
think
that.
so either. It doesn't
Yeah,
sound
you
familiar.
get you get something. We had some other students that we recommended for RYLA a few years ago, and they brought out different things, but they had this crazy excitement about them that they said, and I know that you didn't say the same thing, but they said that when they came back, that they looked at the students in Sharon differently than they looked before, that because Sharon was a smaller thing. I think you said something like it, but not in those words.
yeah.
But yeah, what did you ask?
No, what do you think that you learned, or what kind of takeaways did you have in terms of leadership?
Well, like I was saying, the first night we did a culture walk where they would ask, like for a specific group of people. So the first people they asked for was the group of females, and then they said like, what would you like everyone to know about your group, and what would you never like to hear again about your group?
A culture walk?
Yes, and they kept going on to like deeper and more personal things until like everyone was sobbing at the end of the
Really?
night. It was a really like people came out with their personal stories. So everyone kind of realized like that the entire world doesn't revolve around them, and whatever they're dealing with, other people are also dealing with.
Wow.
So like that obviously brought the community together. But I think also when I came back to Sharon, I went back to school the very next day. I know some kids, some kids that came from Sharon like took a break because we got back quite late that night. But I went back the next day, and the world seemed really small, and I kind of saw it like really differently because everyone's so worried about their grade and like what's coming up during finals and what's the next exam in math and stuff. But like RYLA just took all of that away for 3 days, and I think when I came back, it was kind of like this. I could feel the stress building up again. So it just makes the world seem a lot different.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So would you describe it as that what is really important in life may not be just what the students in probably any school, but maybe a lot more than just what students experience?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult to understand at the moment because especially when there are so many like things going on during school, you know, you have to get your homework done, you have to study for exams, you have to make sure that you're getting like all of your club time done, your volunteering hours done, all of that. It's difficult to see like the bigger picture and, you know, what you want to do in the future and what you actually want to get done personally. And I think RYLA really taught like what is truly valuable to us other than, you know, education.
Yeah, I was going to say they've been invited to the Rotary, Sharon Rotary that sponsored you. You've been invited to talk and let them share part of
Yeah,
what
that'll be
happened.
Yeah.
But there's another important thing that you and your brother were both invited back. Tell our audience about that.
So we applied to be student leaders this year instead of just participants.
Great.
So we will take the role of the people who led us through our RYLA experience because we had so much fun the first time that we wanted to give back to the kids that were coming to the event next year. So we go down to Dartmouth University, UMass Dartmouth. About once every month. It's going to change to twice every month, starting probably like February or March next year once it gets closer to the date. And like so far we've planned like what our t-shirt logo is going to be and what our color is going to be, and we're planning like we have to learn all of the icebreakers that we did last year and all the chants that we did to make sure the kids stay awake and everything. So
How many people are at these meetings?
so there should be I think 30 student leaders, 30 people signed up to be student leaders, and there are two main people. They're called SDs, or student directors, and they lead us. So they're like the student leaders. And there are two of them, but there are also a team of people who are like setting up the charity event that we're doing and the volunteering stuff that we're doing. That's a team of about 6 or 7 people.
What kind of a charity event are you doing?
So last year we did a thing where like the student directors and leaders brought in a bunch of like old ropes, and we made dog toys and pillows for them to send to a dog shelter. We're not completely sure what we're doing this year. It's still in the works, but we have a few ideas, like
What
care
kind
packages.
of shelter?
A dog shelter.
Dog.
Yeah.
Dog shelter. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, very interesting.
Is
I was
that the
gonna-
whole camp did that?
Yeah.
Oh, now these students, they're all students. Where do they come from, though?
It's all over. In my group, there was someone all the way from Martha's Vineyard, and there
All
were people.
Massachusetts?
Yeah, it's all over Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and there were like 2 or 3 people from Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, the reason they chose UMass Dartmouth in particular is because it's kind of halfway between where everyone lives, because there are kids that are, you know, from like Foxborough, but there are also kids that are all the way from Rhode Island. So yeah, they had to pick somewhere where it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Did you meet anybody there from Foxborough? Because I remember they wanted to borrow some of our kids if we had recommended more, because they didn't have anybody at the time. But I think they were working on it. Did you end up meeting anybody?
I don't think anyone that I was extremely close to in my group was from Foxborough, but I know there are a few kids who signed up to be student leaders that are from Foxborough.
Oh, so they must have had. Now, where did you sleep? Where did they sleep?
It was in a cabin. Our cabin did not have a shower, which was interesting. I remember the first night I was there, I asked my friends if they wanted to shower, and they were too tired, and I was like, fine, they'll shower tomorrow. But I went out at around like 1:30 a.m. to find a shower. It was really interesting. I mean, we got back at around like 1 o'clock to the cabin, so I was looking for a shower, and yeah, we just slept in cabins.
Now, with the cabin, how many were a cabin? How many into a cabin?
Gosh. So the student leaders slept with us in the same cabin. I think in my cabin there were like 8 to 10 girls.
All girls?
Yeah, they separate the girls and the boys.
But the girls, but in your group, they were both mixed? Girls
Yeah,
and
in
boys?
my group in particular, there was like 1 or 2 more girls than there were boys, but it was mixed, yeah.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Were the people who went to the camp, you say they're from all over Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and as far as Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, do they come from sort of different cultural backgrounds or different educational perspectives than what you experience here?
I mean, definitely. I think the thing, especially with education, we all kind of had the same morals because, you know, we all thought alike, and I think we were a really like caring and supportive group of people. So we all kind of supported each other and encouraged each other to do things that we never really thought we would do. But in terms of education, I think Sharon in particular its school has really high standards. So, you know, like for AP exams and exams in general, the expected average is like at least a B, you know, if not an A-. So I think it wasn't necessarily clear like what the education level of everyone was, but during the weekend I'm not sure anyone really cared because we were kind of just bonding with each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would think that they would have been of a higher level where it's a Rotary Youth Leadership, and they're
True.
Rotary,
Yeah,
which is a worldwide organization, are looking for
true.
tops to
Yeah.
represent
Yeah.
them.
How about different socioeconomic backgrounds? Did you notice that too?
Yeah.
Differences there?
Yeah, definitely. I think from the first moment we were on the bus, I think there were kids that were coming in with like my brother and I went with suitcases, not suitcases, but like luggages, because we weren't sure what we were doing.
Yeah.
But then like there are other kids who came in with like duffel bags, and there were a few kids that came in with like their belongings in a trash bag. So I think it was.
I think she means too that whether they're wealthy or
Right,
poor,
yeah.
things like that.
I think we learned a lot about each other throughout the culture walk. We learned like where people stood in terms of like their socioeconomic status. But it's you know, we didn't ask each other about specifics because again, like we didn't really care.
Right.
Yeah.
That was one interesting thing. I think that the 2 boys who went before.
Eli and Ty.
Yeah, those
That
2.
was a few years
That was one of the
ago.
things
They're
that they.
already, are they sophomores in college now? Or
Oh boy.
are they, I don't know, they keep getting older.
Yeah. They keep
Yeah.
getting older. We all do. But one of the things that stood out in my mind is they said it just opened our eyes to
Oh, yeah.
a lot more, and where people are coming from and their experiences so much different.
I think in particular with them is they had more patience for other people that weren't in their group here.
That was
they
a
had
good
more
one, yeah.
patience.
Mm.
Yeah. But I don't know. Did you find, or you had I think you deal with everybody the same pretty much, don't you?
I mean, I definitely have a close group of friends here in Sharon that I've never really strayed from because they're the people, you know, that I trust, and I have trusted them for many years. I've trusted some of them since like 4th grade in elementary school, but some of them I've
That's
just met.
nice.
I think at RYLA it was interesting because I went in with this kind of thinking that like I was kind of gonna be in the out group because I typically am at school, which is perfectly fine, but you know, I was afraid that I was going to be alone because people don't typically see me and be like, I want to be friends with her. They typically see me and they're like, I want to see what her homework looks like. So when I went into RYLA, I kind of had that mindset. Like I know there were specific people that I didn't want to hang out with, but then I met everyone in my in the group that I was in, and I was like, I just want to be friends with these people forever.
And you wouldn't have
Isn't
thought
that
so before
nice?
that?
I wouldn't have, no.
No.
Where were those people from? Like what towns in general?
I don't remember specifically. I think one of them was from Newton in Massachusetts. One of my group was, again, from Martha's Vineyard. I don't remember all of them,
Okay.
but I know they were from all over.
Variety. So you had a
Yeah.
variety.
So tell me, what
interesting.
did you learn from that one thing you just described, where you kind of went in with a mindset, an expectation that people would not gravitate towards you for one reason or another, and it sounds like you were surprised.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel? How did it happen that occurred like that?
I mean, when I first got there, like I didn't know anyone, and we had just gotten into our groups. I was still kind of like quiet, and I didn't really want to say anything. But by the end of the night, which was the night of the culture fair, I went up because they asked if there are people whose like family or who they know had a terminal illness. So I went up and I got like really emotional, and by the time I got back, like all of the people in my group were like consoling me, and they were making sure I was okay. And throughout the entire night, like we didn't stay up that late, we only stayed up till like 2 a.m.
Oh boy.
We got back to the cabins at like 1:30. So like when we were walking back and we were debriefing about the event, you know, we were all making sure that each other, like, that we were all okay.
Nice.
So I think before then I would have been closed off, especially in Sharon, because especially in my grade, like the cliques are very clear. You can see like who is in what group, and I think my mind has been closed off to a lot of people that have been in a group that's separate from mine, especially like on the other side of the spectrum. But when I came back from RYLA, especially this year, I've kind of changed my thinking, and I've been like, I should probably, you know, try to let these people in and see what happens. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work.
Wow, that's a big
That's so
breakthrough.
nice.
It
Yeah.
really is a big
Yeah.
breakthrough.
I can picture you though. I don't know if you. A lot of times people don't know their own worth,
Exactly.
and I have always told you how special you were and how bright. I think anybody would be here, even if it's just for the homework. You know, they'll have respect for you that way.
I think I'd like to think that the kids at my school have respect for me. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I think having respect for someone and being close friends with them, you know, trusting them with more than like the truth of your life. You know, I trust some of my friends with my life. It's very different, and I think. You know, I respect everyone at my school, and I hope that everyone respects me.
Nice.
But I don't know if I'm necessarily close friends with all of them.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Let's face it.
Yeah.
I kind of
time,
I look at these groups, you know, social or related to school. It's like concentric circles.
Yeah.
Because the people that you know and maybe you respect but you're not really friendly with them probably are on the outer circles. But then you have all the way through, you have your closest group, and those are the people you really trust to accept you for who you are, and you can tell your story to them and not be judged.
Right.
And that's what we experience all the way through life anyway.
Yeah, I think as you get older, though, you're more open, you're more elastic, that you don't expect this from this, or just because you're this way, you can't expect other people to be the same way. As long as people are open and honest, as long as they're honest, to me, if somebody keeps their word, that's important.
And it sounds like what you did in that exercise where you said everybody got emotional, that's kind of I think that's a fairly common exercise in some of these groups where they're trying to kind of get people to be open, so they're trying to, not really, break down is a strong word, but they're trying to get through those barriers that we put up, because we all put them up when we're new to a social
Yeah.
situation.
The funny thing is, one of the people that they call from the outside is one, he does work for organizations. Like, he's called in to organizations to speak them up, to get the group to work together. Because in a big company, or even in a small company, it's cheaper to have somebody come in and teach the people how to work together as a team.
Yeah.
They call that team bonding, than to hire new people.
Mm.
So I think, did they call it team bonding? There is a company team bonding.
The culture walk?
No, any of it. That you were bonding with your team.
Yeah, I mean, they called the groups in RYLA families. So
Oh,
yeah, I don't think the culture walk specifically was meant for bonding. I think it was just meant to open people's eyes to be.
Why do they call it culture walk? Is it because it's
Honestly,
cultures? Or-
not. I mean, it makes sense, like the culture, because there are different cultures around and people that came from everywhere. And I think it's called walk because like we were sitting in seats kind of like this, but there were like 10-ish rows of them, of like 10 or 15, I don't remember. But there were like many rows, and people who wanted to go up had to get up and walk up to the front of the room.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
that's something. You know what I was surprised about? Her brother who was on, who's also very brilliant, but he's very quiet. But I've heard where sometimes he's not quiet, so I was a little worried about him. But when he said that he was going back, I go, my God, that's fantastic. And he was wonderful. You would never think he was shy when he did the interview here. He was just wonderful. The funny thing is, we have a lot of people who you would think would want to be on the show, but then when they go, oh, no, they're just afraid. But, we're not afraid, that's good. Is there anything else? We have somebody from Rotary here. Is there anything else that you want to add? You want to say how wonderful the lawyer money in you is and all you got out of it? Want to look at your name in the book again? She's contributed a lot.
I do want to thank you for the opportunity, because without all the work I've done here and without the opportunity to work with you, I think I wouldn't have been able to give back like I have with the books and like I have with RYLA. So
That's beautiful, and I didn't even tell her to say that. And you know what else, too? She's in the National Honor Society.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
thank you.
What grade are
Yeah.
you in school?
Junior year.
She's a
Wow.
junior. I think did you start with us when you were a freshman or even before?
I might have started in like late 8th grade, if not
Yeah.
early freshman
Yeah,
year.
I think so, because I think you were
Yeah,
14 at the
Yeah,
time.
14, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember the day she started with us? I said, you won't believe this. This girl's unbelievable. She first of all, you drew that picture.
Oh, yeah.
She drew a picture, except it looked like it came out of a magazine, but
Oh,
she
couldn't
did it
stop
herself.
talking about it. She couldn't stop talking about
And
it.
then she started writing blogs.
Yeah,
And you'd give
I
her a
noticed.
subject, even if she didn't know what it was about, you'd tell her a little, and all of a sudden she'd sit there and type as fast could be, and out would come this thing, and I maybe changed one word or this or that. And
Yeah.
we sent it in. What else did you do?
You drew more than one picture, didn't you? For a
Yeah,
book?
I know.
She's
I
good.
tried to draw a few, but I know my friends are
She's
much
good.
more artistic than I am.
She says that, but I want you to. I want to show one of my favorites. Where's that one? That's one of my favorites. Is it in the other one?
It might be in this one.
No, it's not in Brockton.
This one?
Yeah, it's in Braintree. We just finished the Braintree book.
Now, how many
Look at
how many
that.
towns now have we done this for?
I think 15 or 16.
Wow.
We did, and we got a request for about a dozen more so far.
Ah.
And this is an interesting one. This is where, and you know, police officers are our friends. We've worked on that. Makaila and the other interns, they've gone with us to deliver books and meet the police. And here's one from Braintree with, it's a picture, I don't know if you can see it, but the young fellow they're honoring, it says Chief Eli Bloomberg. The poor boy, well, he died, but they gave him an honor of the chief for a day.
Oh,
And police do a lot of good. You're just like the baseball players. This is one that Makaila did. She was
Really?
14.
wow. And that's freehand,
Helicopter.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she just sits there. But there's,
Wow.
oh, I think it's in the, it's in, God, this book there. It's this one. They're all custom made. But she did one where you fill it in the number. You know which one it is. It's one of my favorites. It's not in this one. There's only so much space you can have. But anyway, your name's in there. That's good.
Yes.
So we're approaching, we want to do, well, you'll be looking into colleges soon. When do they start the, the financial literacy fair
Oh yeah.
was just there. And we brought that into Sharon. She saw Becca there.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
I did. I actually had a lot of fun. I walked around with a good friend of mine who is in a lot of my classes this year. But yeah, we walked around together. She made slightly more money than I did, but
What job did they give you? Because they give you jobs. It's modeled after the Credit for Life fair that the state of Massachusetts does, which not every state does. But Massachusetts happens to be one of the forerunners in education and in mental health and against cyberbullying. They have all that stuff. We've had the head of the economic development on the show too there, but Massachusetts is really a forerunner. But what job did they give you? So that's what the Credit for Life is. They give you jobs that you would have when you get out of college.
yeah, they gave us about a week before the financial literacy fair. They gave us a huge sheet with a bunch of job like stuff that we could do. The person I was walking around with, I think she had physician, and I picked chemical engineer.
That's good.
Oh,
Really good.
So you didn't have to get a second job.
No, I did not.
Yeah, because a lot of them get second jobs. So when you did the reality check at the end,
Yeah.
were you well within your budget?
I was within my budget. I don't know if I was well within my budget, but I was
you-
within my budget.
Oh, that's good. Now, did you choose, I'm always interested to find out, did you choose to room with somebody or to rent or a car or not a car?
So when my friend and I walked in, we probably should have gone to housing first, but we went to transportation first, and we both bought the same car because it was like it was the one we could afford that was also like kind of looked good. So we both bought the same car, but then we also roomed together. So now we're sharing an apartment with two of the same car. So we should have gone to housing
Yeah,
first.
they
but it's
should
okay.
have caught you on there.
Yeah. But I did, we decided to room together mostly because I was more broke than she was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know
All right.
something? With that, we'll go, you got to be kidding. I just want to show the you got to be kidding bag. Except, oops, this is the minion bag.
You
This
gotta
is a
be kidding.
This is a minion bag. We have to wrap up. And here's the
Here's
You've
how
Got
you
to
gotta
Be
be
Kidding
kidding.
bag.
Yep.
And along with the You've Got to Be Kidding bag, I brought a little M&M bag. My favorite bags. And that's it. You could say You've Got to Be
You gotta
Kidding.
be kidding. A bag in
Yeah.
a bag in a bag.
Yeah, but no, we got the. You got
All
to
right.
be kidding. I just happened to fall in love with Minions. So that's it.
You love Minions. Very great. So thank you very much for
Thank
being on the
you.
show, Makaila. And we're looking forward to having you join us at the Rotary Club. That'll
Thank
be
you.
a good meeting.
Yeah.
And I want to thank our viewers for watching. If you have any questions about RYLA or any questions or have any comments, any ideas for us, by all means, please get in touch with us, send us an email. Because remember, this is your show.
Oh, before you do that, Camille's a member of Rotary, and so is my husband. That's how we got connected with
Right.
Rotary and really appreciated
And I'm going to be
Rotary.
introducing you at that meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Remember.
So remember, this is your show. The law, your money,
and you.